Guilfoyle.
All right, all right. Well, hello, CPAC. How are we doing, Florida? How are we doing, America? I have to tell you, I absolutely love the state of Florida. I mean, really, what's not to love compared to California and New York, right? I love this state. I love Governor DeSantis, and we all love all of you. And thank you for being here today and standing for conservative values and principles. Now, in the great state of Florida, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Well, not every day, maybe like 6 out of 7. Because I got to remind you of one thing, that Joe Biden, I cannot believe it still, is in the White House. But Joe did not disappoint, because just like we told you, he is leading from behind. From behind Kamala, that is. True story. However, with Joe Biden sort of bumbling his way through the first month, the reporters probably in the back of the room are trying desperately to write our obituary. But we are alive and well in this country. The press wants you to believe that the American conservative movement is fractured. They want America to believe that this movement is dead. News flash to those out there, we aren't going anywhere. It's the thousands of conservatives here today and the millions across this country who are not going to be silenced. And we are definitely not going to cede this fight to the socialists and the communists who want to see our nation burn. The fight for liberty, the fight for conservative values, and the fight for the heart and soul of this nation will not be abandoned. That fight continues right here and right now with all of us. And that's because the America First policies and programs, we're not going anywhere. This movement is not going anywhere. And I can promise you this, President Trump is not going anywhere. He is here to stay. That's the good news. We love President Trump, and I'll tell you, I will confidently say that President Trump from his desk at Mar-a-Lago will accomplish more for America in the next 4 years than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris could ever dream of. That is because we are not giving up. The Republican Party is being reborn thanks to President Trump. It is being reborn as the party of the working class, of minorities, of hard-working American men and women, the party of America First, the party of President Trump. And we bid a farewell to the weak-kneed, the spineless, and the cowards that are posing in D.C. pretending that they're working for the people. Let's send them a pink slip straight from CPAC. What do you say? We tell them that America has no use for them, and this movement is leaving those cowards in the ash bin of history, and we will strive forward thanks to the courage, the policies, and the strength of President Trump. Instead, we will chart a new path, a path driven by bold conservative solutions, a path where we don't kowtow out to the demands of the leftist mob, and a path where we are willing to stand up and fight for what we believe in and what we hold true. From California to New York, we will fight to take back this country. However, to do so, we must do three important things. We must demand more from our elected leaders and officials and those that are actually pursuing public office. It is not enough to just be, quote, Republican. That means very little when they get to Washington, D.C., and they don't perform. We're not interested in those type of politician empty suits. We want fighters like President Trump, warriors for this country, for America. And our movement must stay true to America first. As the Democrats scurry to re-enter the corrupt Iran nuclear deal and cozy up to China, we must understand that the survival of our nation is based on putting the American worker and the American family first. And finally, we must take our message into every corner of our nation. America first means all of Americans. All of us united together as a country. Our ideas, our conservative values, and the solutions that we champion are the key to lifting up everyone in this country. As a movement, our message must transcend party lines, socioeconomic lines, and cultural lines. As one America we put first. If we can accomplish that over the next 4 years, I can promise you, we will be winning elections. It will only be the start of what is going to happen because, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the best is yet to come. God bless CPAC. God bless Madam Mercedes Schlapp and the entire team, your family, the military, the veterans, law enforcement, first responders. God bless President Trump, and thank you, President Trump, on behalf of a grateful and humble nation. God bless this country, and ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the son of the greatest president this country has seen, a leader of the warrior MAGA movement and conservative values, Donald Trump Jr.
Wow! How's it going, CPAC? Or I heard someone earlier phrase it a little bit better. TPAC. That's what it feels like, guys. Well, first and foremost, it's awesome to be here. It's great to see this kind of enthusiasm, and it's great to actually be in a full room. Honestly, guys, what I see in Florida right now is exemplary of the Republican Party, right? This is a state, like the party is, that has open schools, open businesses, and open churches. What we've seen in some of the more left-leaning states is exactly the opposite. The only thing that they have open is open borders. And it doesn't work, guys. In the first 30 days of Joe Biden's presidency, all of the things that I said would come true in the book Liberal Privilege that I wrote last summer are happening. We listened to months of media telling us that Joe Biden, he's a moderate, don't worry. He's not going to end energy. He's not going to end pipelines, which is partially correct. He's not going to end Russian pipelines. He's only going to end American pipelines. The Russian ones are just fine. They're going to cave to China. No, that was never going to happen. Of course it happened. You think that $1 billion investment in Hunter came for free? No, the Chinese have a great return on investment. But guys, more importantly, who would have thought that within 33 days we'd be bombing the Middle East again? I would have. Oh no, guys, come on, the military-industrial complex, I'm surprised it took them 33 days. I guess they waited till the first month, so they couldn't say that was part of the first 30, but it was only shortly thereafter where we started bombing the Middle East. Speaking of bombing the Middle East, have you seen Liz Cheney's poll numbers? No, listen, the one thing I'll say for Liz Cheney is I'm sure she has a lot of bipartisan support, because if there's one thing that she and Joe Biden definitely want to do, it's bomb the Middle East. Everything else is a disaster. Everything else is just rhino policies, the kinds of policies that put the Republican Party in a position where they needed a Donald Trump. No, seriously. Liz Cheney and her politics are only slightly less popular than her father is at a quail hunt. What? Fact checkers, please have at it. Fact check true. Right? Listen, like I said, Liz Cheney, she hates Donald Trump and his policies because her family has a long history of friendly fire. But she also hates them because she's tied to an establishment that has done nothing but fail us time and time again. You've heard the rhetoric from some of them over the last couple weeks, and now you've seen that change very quickly. Because if there's one thing the Republican Party has been really good at over the last few decades, is snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. They've caved to every special interest. They've caved to corporate America. They've caved and bowed to the radical left that hates their guts, hates their values, and hates their freedoms. Lincoln Project Liz, as I'd like to call her, is the leader of that failed movement. And if we want to go back to losing, if we want to go back to an America Last policy, we should be following that. But I don't, and I don't think anyone in this room does either. So, you know what, guys? The first 30 days has been a disaster. The lies the media told you wouldn't happen are all happening. But hey, at least they have a diverse cabinet. Right? No, yeah, it's very diverse. That's what we saw, right? What is the policy of the SBA? Well, first and foremost, we appointed a woman. Well, that's wonderful. Is she competent? Because there's competent women and there's incompetent women, just like there's competent men and incompetent men. We've seen that. We know that to be a fact. But when you don't have policy to address the incompetence and think you can get away with it by just talking about diversity blindly, it's sort of a problem, isn't it? This month alone, they've banned the Muppets. Right? I mean, if there's things that you thought were sort of above cancellation, you would be wrong. There is nothing the radical left won't cancel. Hasbro now wants a gender-neutral Mr. Potato Head. These are the issues of our times, folks. I mean, if Hasbro really wanted a gender-neutral Mr. Potato Head so badly, they should just slap a picture of CNN's Brian Sletler on the cover of their next potato. What? They don't call him Mr. Potato Head for nothing. I mean, you know, we might as well get something out of the branding. But guys, we can talk about all of these things. We can talk about the liberal hypocrisy, liberal privilege. Just look at how magically, in 33 days, children in cages turned into migrant shelters for children. Now, mind you, nothing actually changed. If you look at the pictures, there's nice bars on the walls. Nothing changed other than the media's outlook. Where is the outrage about this? Where is the outrage about an asinine immigration policy that is encouraging people to bring children, unaccompanied and otherwise, into a country? Guess who gets hurt? Our low-wage earners, who for the first time in modern history under Donald Trump started seeing real wage growth. We see it time and time again. There's a double standard by which we live, but when you look at what's going on, if people were informed of the actual facts, rather than spoon-fed a narrative by big tech and the mainstream media, we wouldn't be in these things. There was a poll that came out just this week that said 1 in 6 people would not have voted for Biden had they known about the Hunter Biden scandal. Yeah, where is Hunter? Guys, I'm sure he's making billions in China right now. Don't worry. Don't worry. One in 6, guys, 17% of the 80 million that voted for Joe Biden, had they even heard of the basics of his corruption. We were all talking about it, guys. It wasn't anything new, but that also shouldn't surprise us. We've been talking about Andrew Cuomo sentencing Nana to death for 10 months. But no one was going to talk about it until they got their wishes. No one was going to address Democrat incompetence. We believe all women until they accuse a Democrat. Then, not so much. But guys, that's why we have to stay engaged. That's why we have to stay in the fight. That's why we can't allow them to steamroll us like they have done for decades. When you look at what's going on just this week in Congress, you have Democrats petitioning major corporations, Comcast, Amazon, to ban conservative news outlets. Not radical parties. Fox News, Newsmax, OAN, just ban them. You don't see Republicans saying, let's talk about CNN as a place of disinformation. I mean, as a recipient of their ire for a couple of years, I can assure you that they were lying about Russia collusion. We all know that now, but no one actually brings it up because they can get away with it. They are able to do that. Big tech will silence you if you come out against it. They will crush you. They will call you racist and everything else. Just like, imagine, we'll bring back Cuomo, right? Imagine Ron DeSantis did what Cuomo has done over the last couple of years. He wouldn't be getting an Emmy. He'd be in jail. Right? Credible accusations of harassment swept under the rug. Verbal harassment swept under the rug. Hiding evidence from the DOJ swept under the rug. No problem. Give him an Emmy. Remember Fredo when he was talking about it? Oh, for months? Oh, where's Fredo? He's so quiet these days. Why isn't Fredo talking about these things right now? Again, liberal privilege. No, we can't address that. Really? You can't address that, but you had no problem joking around with massive Q-tips, making clowns of yourselves for months prior. That's what we're up against, folks. But together, we can win these fights. We have to be vocal. We can't be put in the corner. We must be out and engaged. And that's where you guys come in. So, I'm looking forward to Sunday. I imagine it will not be what we call a low-energy speech. And I assure you that it will solidify Donald Trump and all of your feelings about the MAGA movement as the future of the Republican Party. So thank you, CPAC. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the love. You guys are the best.